It's September 24th, 2021. At the top of the morning, I had court with Michelle Oliveira at wherever I am, Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361, remotely from my house or my unit that I'm being held in. This is the flag that gets flown at the moment. They call the flag, I don't even know, is the flag itself the unit of the state? Or is it I mean, this gets confusing because there's nobody that has some kind of unity agreement that explains to any of us in the left behind category of, like, they never came to public school. I mean, there were some really great summer representatives at the camp when it was in the pool to make sure we didn't drown, I suppose. And that was like lifeguard-esque. I call it ESQ, Esquire. But anyway, so really strange anomaly in the wiring this evening for Lewis under a gold, but within the state of New York, which is where that is. Lewis was, like, straight facts. He went to the store and he got 4 containers of soup. Zupa. He came home. I said, do you want me to put them in the pan and I'll heat them up for us, since Linda was in a mood. She's not feeling well. And he says, no, I'll do it. I said, okay. So then I sat down and I waited, and then he put the soup on the table. We ate the soup. He was busy speaking to Linda. I cleaned up my area. I went to the sink and where he left the pan and the ladle. Then there was a coffee cup and 2 coffee cups with some utensils in the sink when I got there. So Linda comes over and she's really annoyed. She's like, you could clean all this up. Like, so she's having a fit. I'm like, yeah, not a problem. I'll do it. Right, got it. Brillo in the pan. I know that's your thing. So I'm loading the dishwasher, and then I wash the pan, and I put the pan away to dry, and then I go, I leave the table, or I leave the station, I suppose, the whatever, and go about my business. I'm ready to go out for my next walk, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Lewis is like, Nicole, he's like, I made you dinner. The least you can do is clean up after me. What? I'm like, no, Lou. I was like, first of all, I'm not taking your... First of all, I'm not a waitress or a waiter. But it's like, where's this coming from? Like, where's this expectation? Because, I mean, I cleaned my area of what I used, and then I cleaned the pan and the ladle. I don't ever remember, like, this is a self-serve household that you've whatever in. I mean, he is whatever. So, the wiring this evening is not working on the same dial that it normally does. Linda's not working on the same function. She's got some kind of allergy cold thing going on with a runny nose and not feeling well. So she's under the weather and agitated. And then Lewis's biology is not connecting to the correct channel. Apparently he thinks like somebody owes him respect in the household, which he's never earned. So now I'm like, Lou, here's the thing. See, like, my problem is that my parent generation in my particular household is broken. Grandfather was beautiful. It's like if you have a set of coordinates that were set but were slightly broken in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and it's on record and it's confirmed and then the machine rolls forward off course and produces the 1940 set of circumstances, but already off course, dangerously off course, on zenith and poles and computers that are pulling things off. Why is nobody fixing it at that point? And the further the breakage in rolling forward of circumstances, of kids getting napped, meaning they go to sleep, and now you have deep sleeper cells in pockets, being mentally, like memories being erased, like you need to go do something, but now everything's changed. The whole entire landscape, the whole lifestyle, there's like no, it's atheist. I'm at the heist where they stole everything. They stole culture, they stole routine, I mean, there is no way of life whatsoever. And what did they get for this type of lifestyle? They got instead of a tick, 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 tick watch on their arm, like the Guggenheim watchmaker used to have, and the cuckoo clock, and all like the really charming aspects from Heaven Elsewhere, not located in the state of New York. Now it's a digital, so he could talk on it like Star Trek. There's idiots that are going to the moon. And then there's something called TikTok, where people make videos of really dumb incidents, and I don't know what they do with them. But I'm saying right here that the pressure is off and the atmosphere is off, and that's more important. But again, that goes back to the coordinates that were off in the late 1800s, 1900s. They were off all the way in programming through the 40s. And now I've got 40s, 50s, and 60s kids all off. I mean, some are on the right path, some are on the off path, but now there's like a divide in how many are cognizant of the fact of what's really going on. And by the time I arrive in the late 70s, early 80s, it's like I got one grandfather that knows what's going on, and a grandmother that was trying to stay up on things, but even her relatives were not being fully honest with her. And she had a problem with her husband and so on and so forth. So now, so now in the 20th century, it's already been documented that rolling in time has been off and enhancing itself dangerously. And now they only have a partial statistic for a project that was set adrift, ADRIFT. So we're already set adrift. There's already so many things that are dangerous in the world, getting more dangerous, and they're totally being unrecognized because the kids that are being taken advantage of, like myself, socially engineered in isolation, are being in a staged kidnap pretty much, told to be quiet, told something's wrong with them, and pretty much put into a deep sleeper cell state where there's no rescue that anyone can see, and there's no form of, like, how do you get help? Because half the population, or 3/4 of the population, has been misprogrammed, thinking that we're on some course for something else. But meanwhile, every digital database and calendar system that the computers of this day and age run off of are running off of a set of circumstances and a partial set of data that is plagued and demonized and damoned with 404 errors all the way through it. So you will never, ever have a perfect set of irrational rational. You have to go back to when the machine first reported being broken, those set of coordinates, And that is what your benchmark is in order to accurately predict how to fix the machine and the people and the society and get yourself back on a course correction. What I don't understand is, where do you go to find people that are willing to work with you on that? Instead, it feels like there's a whole bunch of treasure hunters in all sorts of categories that are causing all sorts of trouble in like a really dangerous manner with like legitimate, what seems like legitimate goals, just they're just furthering the problem and trying to cover up as they go the seriousness for which they've already participated in. So that's a problem. I have to think about this. Okay, so it was set adrift. And of course, oh, and then I was walking, so today's September 24th, 2021. Tonight, I never see police uniforms, ever. NYPD wears a, on the, to their day, whatever, it's a nylon, tight starch blend. I'm not really good at textiles. I don't have a background in it, but that's what they wear, so that it always looks professional, or for the most part. And then they have their dress valise at other times for their professional whatever. But their day wear is like a nylon. I saw something I never see, but I don't know where they're from. There was a young man like Benjamin's age, so I'd say like maybe early 20s to mid 20s maybe, I think, walking the boulevard in very handsome, I mean, it's valise grade, but it's his street version of nylon, like well-dressed, you know, and again, I don't go up and dare touch them, but it looks like a white shirt with white pants, and I never see that on the boulevard, with a hat, but I don't know the millinery name for the hat. And then, but I think it would be equivalent of what the New York City policemen wear in shape when they're wearing their hat. I just don't know the name. And then, and I never see, again, gentlemen in white on white. And then I walked a little bit further, and then there was a woman or girl, around the same age, young woman, somewhere between, I would say, like 18 to 25, somewhere in there. She was walking with two other people, but she again was in white on white, dress like an NYPD, like clean lines in a uniform style. I mean, that's what I would call a uniform, but I don't know what that is tied to as far as league of, I mean, like, they look really very professional on the streets. I just don't know what their community, where they organize. I have no idea. So, so there was one gentleman and then one female, or woman. Do you call them officers? I don't even know. I don't know what the appropriate word is, because again, I don't have anybody to teach me anything. So there's that. And it's a Friday night. But it was a surprise, a welcome surprise, that, because I never see anybody like that white on white, out. It's almost like, I don't know, they have a thing that they say in the Urban Diction, something like, you don't wear white after Labor Day. I don't know if that has a tie-in, like, Nicholas asked me, after he delivered Alexander in the Manhasset Hospital, he asked me, I wanted him to stay, I wanted Jay to leave, but I didn't get my wish, my birthday wish. I said, could you come back for your birthday? If it's your birthday and you get to spend it with, you don't have anybody to spend it with, I don't have anybody to spend mine with except the baby, and it would be nice to, like, hang out together. And then he asked me something about a holiday schedule, if I had figured that out, and I'm like, holiday schedule, like what kind of holiday? I couldn't understand what he was referencing. Now I probably have a better intonation years later, 16 years later to be exact. But anyway, so that was something interesting tonight on the boulevard. I had this color on only because all of my gray and black is set for laundry day, so this is my end of the week, whatever. So then there's and I had the green and black umbrella when I walked, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361, and it's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken. And the thing is that, like, I know a lot of people, like, it pisses me off when the doctors around here with their shots and with all of their really poor medical advice for humans. It's like they campaign, they get these drug names, and then it's like they raise funds to cause more computer biological interaction disease and to disease the process that diseases the body to then have more campaign. And it's like the people are getting more and more sick and there's more and more names for things, but life has not gotten better by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, it's gotten worse and it's disgusting. But let me think about it. But that's a very big problem. But they say mental disease, and I'm like, and then there's the word fundamental. I'm like, okay, there's F-U-N, there's a 3-letter, in sta bene, non ci bene per lei. None of this is sta bene. And then you've got fund, F-U-N-D, and then it's men, M-E-N, so it's fund men, and then it's tall, T-A-L. I mean, for me, Niklaus is over, I mean, my league of where heaven exists, they're, not that I don't appreciate anybody that's less than the size of a Soviet 5'6", but my, like, heavenly stature, I gotta look up, and I feel comfortable being short in his presence, and it's a glad to see you kind of relationship. So that's why, like, you're talking like tall men, or are you talking mental? Because there's a big difference in human diction if I'm speaking Finnish. Like Finland, right. Because the humans around here in America, they get confused about serious people with serious expectations, serious jobs, and just how unserious this world has become as it came undone, and I don't see it being handled in the proper manner. So I do not know the significance, only because I don't know what league the two white on white representatives are. Because myself, I mean, like, is there like a book that, I'm like, of uniforms? I have no idea where to even begin with this, and I don't have a grandfather to, like, even ask him. I mean, 1996 he passed away, and I had been removed from this house and brought all the way out east in Suffolk, and in isolation. Oh, that was the other thing. Somewhere when I was like Nucci's age, Bradley Ray asked to meet me after school one day over by Jackie and Chris HEIM's house and Patrick Sullivan's house. He had the West Highland Terrier named Mookie. It was like off of Midland, right over by Glen Way. So I went to go meet him, and then he gave me a letter, and it was in the most beautiful handwriting. And then as I'm walking back, like, the letter was like an apology about how sorry whoever wrote it was. They were some kind of group, but I didn't know who they were, and they just signed it, you know, whatever. And they said that they knew that it wasn't fair or it wasn't easy for me growing up with no friends or like whatever, or so alone, but help was on its way. That's what they were working on, which actually made me cry as I read it alone on my way back from Midland to Glenway when we were living there in like late 80s, or late 80s. But nothing came to fruition of whoever wrote the letter or whoever was involved in the letter. Never seen them, never heard from them, never stayed in touch, wouldn't know who. The letter wasn't signed by any of them. It just apparated through Bradley Ray in front of Jackie HEIM and Chris HEIM and Patrick Sullivan with Mookie. And I don't know, he had a sister. I have no idea what her name was. She was younger. And then all of a sudden, the entire set of them just disappeared into the world. Like fish in a school. And then just, they all go in separate directions and just keep swimming in the ocean. And never find one another ever again. That's all humans have been. Star 1978, Star 8378, Nicole Cataruzzo. Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.